The hum of voices filled the air, a symphony of languages blending together in the vibrant spaceport of Alicia Prime. Eli Mercer weaved through the bustling crowd, a wide grin on his face. The place buzzed with energy, aliens of all shapes and sizes flitted around him, their colorful attire adding to the kaleidoscope of sights and sounds. Eli was here on a mission to gather samples for Earth's new scientific initiatives, but he was also eager to see what the universe had to offer. "Watch where you're stepping," a stout merchant yelled as Eli nearly knocked over towering displays of exotic fruits. "Sorry." Eli chuckled, dodging to the side. He pushed through the throngs, his heart racing with excitement. Just then, a bright flash caught his eye. He turned to see a striking figure, Lyra, a Zyphorian girl with shimmering, bioluminescent skin that pulsated like the stars above. Her eyes glowed an ethereal blue, mirroring the glint of bright lights around her. Eli, entranced, felt an unexplainable pull. "Hey there. What's your name?" he called out, striding forward. Lyra regarded him with skepticism. "Why do you want to know?" Humans are notorious for asking questions. "Guilty as charged," he laughed, "but I promise I'm not a walking interrogation. Just curious. You caught my eye and I was wondering where you're from." "Zyphoria," she replied coolly, her voice smooth yet guarded. "A planet rich in bioluminescent flora unlike anything you have on Earth." "Really?" "I've read about it, one of the most beautiful places in the galaxy," Eli said, trying to keep the conversation going. "What's your favorite part?" Lyra tilted her head, assessing him. "You wouldn't understand. The beauty of my world is beyond what a human can grasp." "I'm willing to learn," he countered, leaning closer. "Show me." Lyra snorted softly, her expression shifting from wary to slightly amused. "You think I'll just take you there because you asked nicely?" "Maybe I can offer something in return," Eli suggested, his gaze unwavering. "A peek at Earth? I could show you the Grand Canyon or take you to the Northern Lights. You'd love it." "Humans always want to boast about their world," she said, crossing her arms. "Would you even understand Zyphoria?" Eli raised an eyebrow. "I'm not one to shy away from a challenge. You strike me as someone who enjoys a little adventure." "Adventure?" Lyra mused, her expression softening. "This is a spaceport, not a playground. Why not both?" Eli replied, sensing the shift in her demeanor. "How about we explore together? I could use a guide and you could use, well, a partner in crime." "Fine," she said reluctantly, breaking into a small smile. "But only until the sun sets. I can't be responsible if you get lost." "Deal?" Eli exclaimed, excitement bubbling within him. Lyra led the way through the maze of stalls and vendors, occasionally stopping to inspect items that caught her eye. "If you insist on hanging around, try not to embarrass yourself," she warned, her tone mock serious. "Embarrassment is my middle name," Eli shot back, feigning a serious expression. "What do you think Eli Embarrassment Mercer sounds like?" "Utterly ridiculous," she laughed, the sound brightening the atmosphere around them. They made their way to a corner of the port where artisans displayed vibrantly colored art pieces emanating soft light. Eli paused in front of a statue crafted from luminescent crystals, the colors dancing like a nebula. "Is this Zyphorian art?" he asked, equally fascinated and confused. "Yes," she answered, her voice tinged with pride. "Each piece reflects our connection to nature. We use it to tell stories of our world." Eli turned to her, curiosity piqued. "What story does this one tell?" "Life," she explained, her fingers brushing over the surface of the crystals. "How we share energies with all living things. Every color represents a different emotion." "Wow," Eli replied, genuinely intrigued. "That's beautiful. How do you learn these stories?" "We pass them down," she said, her expression becoming more serious. "From elder to child, generation after generation." "I'd love to learn," Eli replied, the sincerity evident in his voice. With a chuckle, she shook her head. "You'd struggle to comprehend even the simplest concepts. Humanity is so linear." "Hey," Eli raised a hand in protest. "What's wrong with a little structure? It helps us make sense of things." Lyra rolled her eyes playfully. "While you're figuring it all out, I will be living in the moment." "All right, then let's live in the moment," Eli said, stepping back into the flow of vendors. "What's next on the adventure list?" "Food," she declared with a smirk. "If only to distract you." They wandered toward a food stall that wafted tantalizing aromas into the air. "Have you ever tried glimfruit?" Lyra asked, pointing to a pile of bright, glimmery orbs that looked somewhat like a mix between apples and jellyfish. "Nope," Eli admitted, his eyes wide. "What's it taste like?" "Like stardust and sweetness," she said, her eyes lighting up. "A burst of flavor that dances on your tongue. Try it." Eli hesitated for a moment before picking one up. "You're sure it won't bite back?" Lyra grinned, shaking her head. "Trust me. It's the least painful experience you'll have today. He took a tentative bite and his eyes widened in surprise. Wow, you're right. This is amazing. There's more where that comes from, she said, her laughter ringing out. For the first time, Eli noticed the ease in her demeanor, the walls she had up beginning to crumble. What else do you recommend? He asked, eager to keep the momentum. Follow me, she said, leading him further into the market. But try to keep up, human. Not a problem, he replied, feeling truly alive. Together, they wove through the throngs, sharing laughter and stories, a remarkable connection forging between them amidst the chaos of the universe. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, Eli glanced at Lyra, captivated by her presence. You know, you're not as intimidating as I thought. Her eyes widened playfully. I can still be scary. Watch. Eli laughed, the sound spontaneous and free. I believe you. This has turned out to be tolerable, she said, her tone light. Just tolerable, he teased. All right, maybe a bit more than tolerable. Now we're getting somewhere. Eli beamed. Beneath the glowing lights of Alicia Prime, amidst the exploration, each sparking moment hinted at an adventure far beyond the galaxy. As they strolled side by side, the world buzzed around them, but within their little bubble of laughter and banter, something new was beginning, something neither of them could yet define. Chapter 2: The Dance of Cultures. Eli awoke to find the sun streaming through the panoramic windows of the small planetary residence he had secured at the spaceport. Today was the day he and Lyra would continue their exploration, an adventure they had both eagerly anticipated since their first encounter. The memory of her laughter and playful banter lingered, fueling his excitement. As he dressed, he wondered what Lyra would challenge him with today. Would it be more new foods, or perhaps a glimpse into her cultural practices? He dashed a hand through his hair and laughed at himself in the reflection. Ready for anything, he muttered. When Eli arrived at their meeting spot, he found Lyra tapping her foot impatiently. She wore a flowing robe that glimmered like a galaxy, hues of blue and green swirling around her as she moved. Nice of you to show up, she quipped, crossing her arms with a smirk. I was just ensuring I was worthy of your time, Eli replied, pretending to bow. How do I look? Like you've just rolled out of bed, she retorted, a teasing grin playing on her lips. But at least you're on time. Perfectly on time, he proclaimed, flexing his arms dramatically. Now, what exciting adventures are in store? Lyra raised an eyebrow. After the food, we should visit the art district. You'll see how creativity flows in Xyphoria, and I want your opinion. I'm all in, Eli said, enthusiasm bubbling as they started walking. Lead the way, wondrous guide. They strolled through the spaceport's winding paths, pausing at a stall selling colorful fabrics that shimmered under the natural light. Eli reached out to touch a deep indigo silk that flowed like water through his fingers. Wow, this feels amazing. Is it made from a local material? He asked. Yes, from the fibers of a luminescent tree, Lyra explained. Our artists use it for many things: clothing, artworks, even to create furniture. Her eyes shone with pride. Sounds versatile. Can you teach me how to make something? Eli suggested, his excitement palpable. If you're serious, we could try, she replied, her interest piqued. But it requires a delicate touch. Are you up for the challenge? Absolutely. Just tell me what to do and I'll follow your lead. All right, but remember, if you break anything, you're paying for it, she teased, nudging him playfully. Let's grab something to eat first. I'm famished. They moved on, stopping at a food stand. Eli opted for a bizarre-looking fruit, bright pink with a spiky exterior. Lyra raised an eyebrow, dubious. You're going to regret that, she chuckled. That's a dread fruit. It's intense. Eli shrugged. I'll take my chances. After yesterday's glimfruit, I think I can handle it. He took a hefty bite, eyes widening. The taste was overwhelming, a mix of sweet and sour with an almost electric aftertaste. How is it? Lyra asked, clearly amused. Like a flavor explosion. Maybe a bit too much excitement, though, Eli admitted, grimacing while chewing. But I like it very unique. She laughed, her melodic voice dancing through the air. You truly are brave, Eli Mercer. I prefer the term adventurous, he shot back, wiping his mouth. Once we master the art of fabric crafting, I'll have the right to call myself a true Xyphorian. Lyra rolled her eyes playfully. You'll need more than that to earn my respect. After finishing their meals, they ventured deeper into the marketplace, finally arriving at the art district. It was a vibrant mix of color and sound, artists creating stunning pieces right in front of their eyes. This is incredible, Eli breathed, taking in the spectacle. A group of Xyphorians was gathered around a mural where vivid colors shifted and morphed under their control. How do they do that? It's all about feeling, Lyra explained. Artists channel emotions into the canvas. The colors respond to their moods. Can we try? I want to create something, Eli exclaimed, eyes sparkling with determination. All right, but remember to focus. Feel it, she instructed, leading him to an open area with canvases and materials scattered around. Eli picked up a brush and dipped it into a palette of colors. He started with broad strokes, feeling more like a child than an artist. How do I capture joy? What does joy look like? Lyra watched intently, her expression a mix of amusement and contemplation. It's the vibrant yellows and radiant oranges. Your brush should dance as you apply them. Eli nodded, trying to mimic her movements. Like this. He swung the brush against the canvas, creating arcs of brightness. Close, but less rigid, she encouraged. Let go of control. There you go. Encouraged, he unleashed his creativity, the brush gliding freely across the surface as laughter erupted from Lyra. You're improving, human. The more they worked together, the more Eli felt the bond between them solidifying. What about you? Show me your take on joy. Lyra stepped forward, taking a fresh brush in hand. With a few elegant strokes, she transformed a blank canvas into a brilliant explosion of colors, weaving in hues he had never seen before. Whoa, that's magnificent, Eli gasped. But how did you do that so fast? It's about practice and connection, she said, her brow furrowed in concentration. You have to dig deep and find it within yourself. Intrigued, Eli watched her work, mesmerized by the fluidity and grace she exhibited. Can we explore each other's interpretations? He asked, his tone earnest. What did you express in your piece? Lyra stepped back and gazed at her canvas. I conveyed how joy bursts forth, like light through a prism. Each ray represents connection, each color an individual. I see it. Eli nodded, genuinely moved. And maybe I expressed this chaotic energy that can be fun but daunting at the same time. You could say the same about love, Lyra remarked, her voice softer now. It's exhilarating but can also knock you off your feet. I wouldn't know yet, Eli said, his expression turning serious. Yet? But you're a romantic at heart, she teased gently, nudging him with her elbow. I've had my share of dating disasters, he confessed, chuckling. But there's something different about you. I feel inspired. Lyra paused, clearing her throat as the air shifted slightly. Inspired to do what? Explore the world, learn, and maybe love, Eli replied, his eyes locking onto hers. Before either could analyze the weight of the words, a nearby vendor called out, breaking the moment. Would the two talented artists care to showcase their paintings? I think we should, Eli said excitedly. Only if you promise not to embarrass us, she shot back, laughing. Deal. Together, they gathered their finished pieces, eager to showcase their day's work. As they presented their creations to those gathered, Eli felt a sense of accomplishment. More than he'd anticipated. Lyra stood beside him, a proud spark in her eyes. Maybe I'm gaining some respect, he joked, nudging her playfully. Perhaps just a little, she replied, enjoying the camaraderie. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm light over Alicia Prime, it became evident that this day had intertwined their lives in ways neither had imagined. They would continue to explore, not only the wonders of their worlds, but the uncharted territories of each other's hearts. Chapter 3. The Bridge of Trust. Eli leaned against the railing of the balcony at their residence, gazing out at the vibrant sunset, painting the skies of Alicia Prime in shades of orange and purple. Today had been a whirlwind of creativity and laughter. But now, as twilight descended, a different energy filled the air. He wondered about Lyra's world and the secrets she held just beneath the surface. Suddenly, he heard the soft sound of footsteps behind him. Turning, he saw Lyra approaching, her robe billowing slightly in the evening breeze. She looked sublime against the backdrop of the colorful horizon. Lost in thought? She asked, tilting her head. More like trying to untangle a few feelings, Eli replied, leaning against the railing with a casual calmness. You've opened my eyes to a whole new world. Lyra stepped closer, her interest piqued. And what does that mean for you? I don't know yet, Eli admitted, sighing. It's just, you make me feel things I haven't felt in a long time. It's confusing. Confusing how? Her curiosity seemed genuine, her piercing blue eyes eager to understand him. It's like every moment we spend together shows me a side of life I've never considered, he explained. I want to understand you more, but I also fear where that might lead. Lyra crossed her arms, her eyes narrowing for a moment as she processed his words. Do you think you're ready for that? I think so, he replied earnestly. But I need you to meet me halfway. She regarded him carefully. You think relationships are about fairness and agreements? Somewhat, Eli said, scratching his head. But I also know openness is key. I want to understand your world, your emotions, everything. Lyra hesitated, her expression shifting. You can't just jump in expecting everything to happen the way you want. Love isn't like a science experiment. I know that, Eli countered, a hint of frustration creeping into his tone. But I feel this connection between us. I can't ignore it. Connections can be tricky, she said, her voice softening. Trust takes time, Eli. I come from a culture where emotions are often suppressed. It's not easy for me to share. I get that, he said, stepping closer. But maybe we can work together on this. You can teach me about Xiphorian ways, and I'll share Earth with you. Together? She echoed, a thoughtful expression crossing her face. It won't be easy, you know. I never intended for it to be, he replied, determination flickering in his eyes. I want to dive in headfirst, no limits. Lyra paused, measuring his words. Are you ready for the complexities that come with that? I'm willing to face whatever comes, Eli asserted. But only if you're with me. Her vulnerability shone through as she softened, her expression changing. You're right. I shouldn't shut you out. But I also can't promise it will be simple. Why don't we take it one step at a time? Eli suggested. Let's just enjoy each other's company and see where it leads us. Lyra considered this, her gaze softening as she caught his sincere nod. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely authentic with each other. No more barriers. Agreed, Eli said, relieved. What do you want to talk about first? How about you share something personal? She said, crossing her arms, a challenge evident in her tone. Fair enough. What do you want to know? Eli answered, curiosity piqued. Let's start with your family. He took a deep breath, recalling his childhood. Well, my parents are both teachers. I grew up surrounded by books and ideas, always encouraged to explore my interests. That explains your hunger for adventure, Lyra noted, her eyes glimmering with interest. Did they encourage you to pursue space travel? Definitely. They emphasized education and curiosity. I always wanted to discover new places and learn, he replied, smiling at the memories. What about you? What was your upbringing like? Lyra hesitated, her gaze drifting toward the horizon. My parents were part of the Xiphorian Council, which means I had to conform to their expectations. Emotions were rarely discussed. We were taught to maintain a stoic exterior. Sounds suffocating? Eli remarked, feeling the weight of her words. It was, she admitted, her voice faltering slightly. I learned to build walls to protect my emotions. It's easier that way, but now here with you it feels different. Eli stepped closer, intrigued by her honesty. Do you think your upbringing shaped your view on love? Absolutely, she replied, her voice steadying. I've always believed love is a distraction and unnecessary complication. But you're experiencing something right now, Eli pressed gently. Yes, she said, and the truth in her words hung in the air. With you, I feel liberated. It terrifies me. Why? Because you're letting your walls down. Eli asked, a note of encouragement in his tone. Exactly. I never thought I'd connect with a human, she said, chuckling nervously. Is this what love feels like? Confusion and fear wrapped in vulnerability. I think it's more about trust and openness, Eli replied softly. But every connection is unique, just like our cultures. Maybe, she mused. But can we truly understand each other? Eli reached out, gently lifting her chin to meet his gaze. It'll take time and herself in the moment. Okay, Eli Mercer. Let's explore this journey. But remember, you have to be patient with me. I can do that, he assured her, heart pounding. I want to earn your trust. And I want to earn yours, she reciprocated, a spark of determination igniting in her eyes. Just be honest from the start. Deal, he confirmed, feeling the warmth of the moment surround them both. With the atmosphere settling into a gentle calmness, Eli decided to reach for something more personal. Have you ever thought about what it would take to break down your walls completely? Lyra's expression turned serious. Every time I feel something for you, those walls tremble. But it's scary. Being vulnerable leaves you open to hurt. I understand that fear, Eli confessed, holding her gaze intensely. But isn't it worth the risk? To fully experience everything life has to offer? It is, she whispered, a flicker of uncertainty still evident. But it's an uphill battle. Even uphill battles tend to lead to beautiful vistas. Eli smiled, endeavoring to inject a sense of hope into their complex conversation. Let's climb together. Lyra's mouth formed a hesitant smile, a bloom of connection growing between them. We might stumble along the way, you know. Then we'll get back up together, he replied, reaching for her hand and squeezing it gently. All right, Eli Mercer. Let's take this plunge together, she declared, a glimmer of bravery sparking in her eyes. With that, they stood side by side on the balcony, watching the stars slowly emerge one by one, each a promise of potential, a universe brimming with possibilities. In that moment, Eli felt an unshakable sense that their journey had only just begun. Chapter 4: The Test of Limits. Eli awoke the next day with a mixture of excitement and anxiety brewing within him. Today was the day he and Lyra had planned to explore more of the Xiphorian culture, specifically the Festival of Xipher's Light. According to Lyra, it was an annual celebration of unity and the changing of seasons, filled with art, music, and vibrant displays of color. As he prepared to meet her, Eli couldn't help but reflect on their deepening connection. Each moment spent together only made him more eager to understand her world, but he also sensed that there were still barriers to overcome. Stepping outside, Eli spotted Lyra waiting for him, her luminous robe shimmering in the morning light. She looked stunning, an embodiment of her vibrant culture. Ready to be amazed, she asked, a spark of enthusiasm evident in her voice. Let's do this. Eli replied, his spirits high. They made their way to the festival grounds, and Eli's eyes widened as they arrived. The area was transformed into a palette of colors. Stalls filled with intricate arts and crafts lined the pathways, while the air buzzed with music and laughter. This is incredible, Eli exclaimed, taking in the scene. It's like stepping into a whole new world. Lyra smiled, pleased at his reaction. This is just the beginning. Come on, let's find something to do. They wandered through the festival, passing by displays of Xiphorian art where artists demonstrated their craft. The colors seemed to flow like liquid light, and Eli was awestruck. Do you want to try your hand at painting again? Lyra suggested, gesturing toward a communal art station. I'm game. Let's show them how it's done, he replied, confidence brimming. As they approached the station, Eli noticed several other Xiphorians gathered around, chatting and working together. He felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Should we work together again? Definitely. This is about collaboration, she said, her eyes shining. Just let your creativity flow. They grabbed brushes and began to paint, initially making bold strokes together. Eli felt the thrill of being surrounded by so much talent and inspiration. I never realized how liberating this is, he said, almost mesmerized by the experience. Art allows us to express ourselves freely. You're catching on quickly, Lyra said, glancing at him with admiration. Thanks. I'm just trying to keep up with the expert. Eli laughed. Speaking of which, what did this festival mean to you growing up? Lyra paused mid-stroke, her expression becoming reflective. Xipher's Light was always my favorite time of year. It was a moment when we came together, celebrated our culture, our differences. It's supposed to remind us of our unity, but, Eli prodded gently. I don't think I ever fully appreciated it, she admitted. I was often worried about upholding my family's expectations, about fitting in. I didn't allow myself to truly engage. Do you still feel that pressure? Eli asked, his voice softening. Sometimes, she confessed. But being here with you feels different. I want to embrace it fully. A smile crept across Eli's face. Then let's make some art that embodies that feeling. With renewed enthusiasm, they let their brushes dance across the canvas, creating a vibrant mural filled with colors that mirrored the festival atmosphere. As they painted, the other festival-goers began to notice their work, gathering around to see what they were creating. Look, a human and a Xiphorian working together, one artist exclaimed. Eli chuckled, nudging Lyra playfully. We're a phenomenon, or a spectacle, Lyra added with a smirk. The gathering crowd encouraged them, shouting playful suggestions. Add more blue. No, make it glow. Eli turned to Lyra, grinning. Let's give them a show. What if we incorporate glowing elements? Great idea, she replied, her eyes lighting up with excitement. They began mixing special luminescent paint, adding depth to their mural. As more people gathered, Eli felt the thrill of the crowd's energy rushing through him. This feels amazing. Yes, see how art brings us together? Lyra exclaimed, her voice filled with joy. Just then, a familiar face pushed through the crowd, Ronan, a Xiphorian artist Eli had briefly met at the marketplace. Fancy joining the duel of colors? I sense an epic battle brewing. Ronan. Lyra called out, grinning. Join us. Eli stepped aside to let Ronan in, curious about what would happen next. All right, let's see what you got. Ronan grabbed a brush with flair. Prepare to be amazed. He quickly added an intense swirl of color beside their mural, blending seamlessly with their work. Eli felt exhilarated. This is getting better by the minute. The atmosphere shifted, it became a friendly competition. Artists began to challenge one another, creating small snippets of collaboration where each added their twist to the evolving mural. All right, let's not hold back, Eli said, fueled by the friendly rivalry. Let's showcase the essence of unity. Lyra's eyes sparkled. Yes. Let's each hit something that defines us. With renewed vigor, Eli dipped his brush, letting the colors collide. He painted a bright sun radiating warmth and hope. This represents new beginnings. Beautiful. Lyra said, adding delicate patterns around it, flowers representing the flourishing of relationships. And these are the values of my culture. Ronan, not to be outdone, added swirling shapes around the edges, representing the balance of light and darkness in life. And this is chaos we must navigate. As the mural developed, laughter and cheers erupted from the onlookers. Eli stepped back to admire the growing masterpiece. The colors blended seamlessly, embodying the collaboration of three very different artists coming together as one. You two have a gift, Ronan exclaimed as they stepped back to assess their work. This should be displayed prominently in next year's festival. Feeling a surge of pride, Eli looked at Lyra, who shared a warm smile. Look at what we've accomplished. Together, she agreed, her voice laced with delight. Suddenly, the playful atmosphere shifted. Lyra's brow furrowed slightly, and her voice turned serious. Eli, I want to ask you something. What happens after today? What if our cultures don't align? Eli took a deep breath, sensing her apprehension. I know it might be a challenge. We're coming from different origins. But I believe we can learn from each other. Isn't that the essence of this festival? Lyra hesitated, scanning the crowd before looking at him earnestly. But what if we clash? What if we can't overcome those differences? Then we face them together, he replied confidently. It's all about understanding and compromise. I'm not looking for perfection. Just an adventure to figure it out as we go. A flicker of vulnerability crossed her features. You're so willing to step into the unknown. It terrifies me. I get that, he said, stepping closer. But if we don't try, we will never know what's possible. Lyra took a deep breath, searching his eyes. You really mean that? Of course I do, Eli replied earnestly. Life's too short to hold back because of fear. We get to build this together. I want that, she admitted softly, a hint of determination lighting her expression. Let's explore our differences and discover who we really are. Eli smiled, the connection between them deepening. Then let's embrace it. Together we'll face the unknown. With newfound courage and understanding flowing between them, they stepped back towards the mural, ready to finish what they started and delve deeper into the journey ahead. As festival goers gathered to celebrate their completed masterpiece, Eli couldn't shake the feeling that today represented a turning point. Yes, it was a celebration of unity and light, but it was also a glimpse into the uncharted paths of their intertwined lives. In that moment, Eli felt truly alive as he and Lyra stepped confidently into uncharted territory, hand in hand, ready for whatever the universe would present next. Chapter 5, Beyond the Stars. Eli and Lyra stood in front of their newly completed mural, a masterpiece of color and emotion that radiated energy, joy, and the collaboration of their cultures. Festival-goers gathered around, admiring the vibrant artwork that celebrated unity in diversity. Eli felt a glow in his chest. This moment transcended both their worlds. Look at their faces. They love it, Eli exclaimed, beaming. It's more than art, Lyra said, her voice filled with wonder. It's a piece of our journey together. She stepped back and gave Eli a teasing nudge. Though I'm still the star of the show. Oh, please, Eli laughed, nudging her back. You just let me join in this glorious spotlight. The festival's atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Musicians nearby began to play lively tunes and a small group danced in celebration. A Xiphorian older than Eli approached them, eyes twinkling. "Your mural is magnificent." "Truly," he said, nodding appreciatively. "It speaks of a bright future for us all." "Thank you," Lyra replied, her face lighting up. "We just wanted to show that understanding comes from being open to each other." "I see you've combined your worlds beautifully," the elder continued. "Each color holds meaning, reflecting your stories." Eli looked at Lyra, an unspoken bond strengthening between them. "We've learned a lot in just a few days." "More than I thought possible," Lyra admitted. "And to think this started from a mere chance meeting. Who knew a little adventure would lead to this?" Eli mused, glancing back at the mural. "It feels significant." "It is significant," she said firmly. "Now we need to keep building on what we've started. This is just the beginning." As the festival continued, Eli felt a mix of exhilaration and dread. The fun of the day moved him, but a thought lurked in the back of his mind. Soon, he would have to return to Earth. He hoped to take Lyra with him, but he didn't know how to approach that conversation. "Lyra, can we find a quieter spot for a moment?" he asked, his tone serious. "Of course," she said, noticing the shift in his demeanor. They made their way to a less crowded area where colorful lanterns cast a soft glow. "What's bothering you?" she asked, her voice a blend of concern and curiosity. "Today has been incredible and I feel like I'm starting to understand you," he began, taking a deep breath. "But I'd be lying if I didn't say this moment is tinged with uncertainty." "Uncertainty? About what?" she inquired, tilting her head. "My time here," Eli admitted, his heart racing. "My trip back to Earth is approaching. I don't want to leave without discussing what we might do next." Lyra's eyes met his, the weight of the moment settling between them. "I've thought about it too," she confessed, a hint of vulnerability in her voice. "But I don't know what that means for us." "What if you came to Earth with me?" Eli proposed, watching her closely for her reaction. Her expression shifted, surprise washing over her features. "Earth? You really think I could adapt there?" "I do," he said, sincerity crystallizing in his words. "I want you to experience my world the way I've tasted yours. We can learn more about each other." "I'm honored," she replied, but Eli noticed the worry clouding her gaze. "But leaving Xiphoria is a big step. What if I don't fit in?" "I wouldn't ask if I didn't think you could thrive," Eli assured her. "And it wouldn't have to be permanent. We could explore, find your balance." Lyra seemed lost in thought. "I've always been taught that staying in one place is safer, more predictable. But you make the idea of exploring exciting." "Then why not take that leap?" he urged. "We can conquer our fears together. And we don't have to rush into anything serious. Just enjoy the process." She let out a shaky breath, courage brewing within her. "You're right. I want to explore not just your world, but who I am beyond what I've always known." "Exactly. We can help each other discover new facets of ourselves," Eli encouraged. "Imagine the adventures we could have." Lyra's expression turned contemplative. "I've lost so much in my life by playing it safe. This could be a chance to rediscover spontaneity." A smile broke free on Eli's face. "That's the spirit. Let's bring our worlds together." After a moment, Lyra let out a small laugh, shaking her head. "You really are stubborn, Eli Mercer." "Only when it's worth it," he replied, and they shared an easy laugh together. Just then, a group of Xiphorians approached, joyful expressions lighting their faces. "Hey, join us at the dance floor," one shouted, pulling them toward the festivities. Eli looked at Lyra, whose eyes sparkled with excitement. "Come on. We can't miss this," he urged. "Lead the way," she exclaimed, allowing him to guide her toward the vibrant dance circle. As they joined the throng, Eli felt utterly alive. The music pulsed through him, and he noticed how the Xiphorians moved with fluid grace. He tried to keep up, imitating their steps with laughter and silliness. "You're getting better," Lyra teased, twirling dramatically. "I'd call this interpretative human," he shot back, spinning awkwardly and causing them both to burst into laughter. They danced amid the flickering lights, drawing cheers from the audience as their energy ignited the atmosphere. Eli lost himself in the rhythm, Lyra stepping in closer with every twirl, their movements blending seamlessly into the flow of the festival. "This is surreal," Eli shouted over the music. "I can't believe how alive this feels." "Just imagine how it would feel to celebrate on Earth," Lyra replied, her voice vibrant with enthusiasm. "Now I want to see you shine in my world." Eli laughed. As the music reached its climax, they found themselves moving closer together, the swirl of bodies around them fading away. Eli caught a glimpse of the way Lyra's eyes sparkled with joy and emotion that felt as bright as the festival itself. "Lyra," he began, trying to focus amidst the chaotic energy. "What does your heart tell you about coming to Earth?" She paused, an intense expression washing over her face. "I want to see it. I want to experience everything it has to offer. The beauty and excitement of it all. That's all I need to hear," Eli said, a grin spreading wide. "We'll make memories together, lots of them." As the music faded, Eli leaned in, their surroundings buzzing with life. In a bold gesture, he brought his hand to her cheek, stepping closer. "I want you to know that you're not just part of my adventure. You're a central piece of who I am becoming." Lyra's breath caught, the moments stretching between them, a silent understanding fueling the air. "Eli," she whispered, a flicker of vulnerability reflected in her eyes. "You make me feel things I never thought I could." Their faces tilted closer, hearts racing as the world melted away. Just as their lips were about to meet, the crowd erupted in cheers, causing them to pause. Laughter surrounded them, yet clarity rippled through the tension, amplifying the connection they had forged. Eli chuckled, unable to suppress his smile. "Some moments are just meant to be interrupted, I guess. Next time, let's not get distracted," she replied, a playful smirk gracing her lips. "Definitely," Eli replied, their eyes locking in a way that left them both breathless. As the festivities continued around them, Eli knew their journey was only beginning, wrapped in colors, joy, and the promise of exploration. A venture into both their worlds, moving beyond limits and toward a future they would create together.